Welcome into this edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here, starting another week. The Ole Miss baseball team going 0 for 4 on the week, losing to Southern Miss in Pearl last Tuesday, and then getting swept by Alabama to move to 0 and 6 in the SEC at home this season. We'll talk a good bit about that today. Ole Miss had another scrimmage on Saturday for football. Still 2 weeks away from the Grove Bowl. 2 Saturdays from now for that. So we did that a little bit today and throughout the week as well. And whatever else comes up as we progress through the show today. A show brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. Speed Pass Plus app, Exxon mobile app. Download it, use it. Take a picture of the QR code right there at the pump. You get 1,000 bonus points. That equals $10 off your purchase at all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi, including the Oxford Exxon. The lunch specials, $5.69, 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink. So take advantage of those things at the Blue Sky. And again, you can put these in the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, the rest completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest will join on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. A great place to go grab a burger or a po' boy, an appetizer. Great beer selection, full bar, and more. I know a lot of people have been stopping into Rafters on some of the baseball weekends and such. Got a big, massive weekend coming up in 2 weeks, so you want to make Rafters part of your plan. Again, Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and also in New Albany.
So, 0 and 4 week for Ole Miss baseball. Again, getting swept by Alabama over the course of the weekend, losing 7-4, 7-3, and then that middle game 12-10, the final for that one in extra innings. Look, there's a lot here, micro and macro. We're going to hit it a little more throughout the week. I kind of did just a stream of consciousness sort of thing, about 2,000 words of baseball that I kind of spit out last night. You can read that at Rebel Grove. Going to look at a couple of the things, big picture, small picture as the week moves on, because it's sort of at that point right now as you've got all the things going on over the course of the top of the program that is very obvious, and then also a team that is struggling in all three phases right now. For Ole Miss, I don't frankly think they have a lot of confidence. I thought that even just sort of body language and the way Mike managed them as humans over the course of the weekend was pretty interesting. And as I led the thing last night, I mean, the stats speak for themselves. They're 4-8 in the SEC. Clearly not good. The only other time Mike has been 4-8 in the SEC through 12 games, 2013. That's a team that did fight back and get to 15-15, but that team had Bobby Wall and Mike Myers and Alex Yarbrough, and there was some All-Americans on that team that got off to a bad start. That team swept Alabama in Week 5, got it to 7-8, and then sort of found a way to get to the postseason. This team has a lot separate issues from that. They're swept at home twice in a season in SEC play for the first time since 1997. Alabama and Mississippi State doing it in 1997. It's happened, obviously, 2 weeks in a row now with Tennessee and Alabama. They go play a very schizophrenic South Carolina team in Columbia Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't really know what to make.
Thursday?
Yeah, it's the next 2 weeks are Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Mississippi State is Thursday, Friday, Saturday as well. So,
okay.
A lot of teams are doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week because of Easter. They do a lot of staying off.
That
Easter.
makes sense.
Yeah, they do Easter and Mother's Day sometimes are 2 days they'll play back if they would like to do that. So, look, we can break down pretty much anything here. There's a lot going on. You know what? The startling thing for Ole Miss, and we'll get into bigger picture stuff today, the week, forever. I don't know. I mean, frankly, there's a lot of Groundhog Day to this. I know we make that joke every year, but it's a little bit of a weird time from a coverage standpoint. I was thinking this when I was writing last night, and I had some comments on the message board at rebelgrove.com that were fair, going, "Hey, what about this? What about this? What about this?" Is barring something completely unforeseen. There's 6 weeks left in the regular season. Well, that's for sure true. There's an SEC tournament Ole Miss at this point is trying to qualify for. There's a postseason, and I don't see Mike Bianco stepping down in the middle of a season. So it's not necessarily time to talk about that sort of thing because it just is what it is right now. However, it is putting a cloud over everything where that still is the story no matter what is going on the field at the time. So it makes for a pretty weird, complicated deal where you can't necessarily just ignore all the minutia, but at the same time, there's a much bigger arc going on together. So that's that sort of thing. I mentioned a lot here. Just kind of lead me through it if you want to. What do you want to talk about?
I think we addressed the elephant in the room at the top. Otherwise, we look like we're avoiding it. And that is, so I haven't been out there to see them play, but I watched a good bit of the series this weekend. And I've watched a good bit of their SEC games.
Sure. Okay.
And what strikes me about them when I watch them is compared to other teams in the league, and you and I have talked about this, even in the league where it's just kind of this homogenous glob of teams, that there's not a lot of difference in them. Other teams are starting to do little things that do make them a little, like LSU, for example. They pretty consistently hit it to the point that they're able to just sort of outlast some teams, right? So and you're starting to see them kind of put a little win here and there. They swept Mississippi State. State's got issues.
LSU's even found some bullpen stuff that sort of works.
Yeah. Like Florida was in. They got it handed to them on Thursday night, and they're in trouble at that moment. And they come back and win 2 games, dominated Arkansas on Friday, and then kind of out-hit Arkansas on Saturday in a way that if you're Florida, I wrote this in 10 Thoughts, if you're Florida, I think that's a turning point. Like you see some things, and they have pitching. They have enough pitching that you can go, okay, we being Florida, we could get on a run here. We could get rolling here. We got a shot. When I watch Ole Miss, I don't ever see enough pitching to make me think, yeah, these guys are just on the cusp of turning it around. And I think you're right. You wrote this, and I've heard you say it, and I think you're exactly right when you watch their approach at the plate. Like they hit 6 home runs the other day.
They hit 6 this is a fairly crazy stat. They hit 6 home runs on Saturday, but for the weekend, they hit 9 home runs, got swept, and only scored 17 total runs and 9 home runs.
So here's my point, and I think this bears it out. Like the wind was blowing out yesterday. It was nice and warm. It was a great weather weekend, kind of really.
Yeah, sure.
And so they're swinging aluminum bats, and so the ball carries, and they hit home runs. And Jacob Gonzalez is a terrific baseball player, and Elko is a power threat every time he steps to the plate. And so you're going to hit home runs. But sometimes when all you hit is home runs, it's fair to start wondering, are you pressing? Or is everyone trying to hit a home run? Because teams who try to hit home runs do 2 things: hit home runs and strike out a ton. Bad at-bats. You got to move the ball. I don't like their approach at the plate when you just watch. And I don't know. Some of it is home plate umpires are bad, but they're bad everywhere. Like they're going to miss calls. I've watched enough SEC baseball this year they're missing calls on everybody. It's an equal opportunity disaster sometimes. But their approach at the plate feels desperate, and I think it's because sometimes inside they're feeling kind of desperate. They know they don't have, and they don't. They don't have a guy on the whole roster that when you hand him the ball on Friday or Saturday or Sunday or whatever the day hell you hand him the ball, you go, all right, we're going to either win today or we're going to have lots of opportunities to win because Joe over there is only going to give up a couple of runs. We're going to be in this thing. I don't think they have that. And so
it changes mindset.
It does. And so even when you have an inning where, like, I think it was the Friday game where they had a chance to kind of score a bunch of runs early.
Scored 2 in the first, had 2 on, and then went foul out, strikeout.
Yeah, and so it's almost like, okay, we have 2, but we got to get 6. There's no calm. They don't – and then defensively, frankly, they're just not very good. Even when they don't make errors, they don't get to a lot of balls. You talked about this, I think, in your stream of consciousness thing. They have an outfield that is converted infielders, and they're fine. But there's nobody out there that's a game
And frankly,
changer.
that's a program thing that they typically have gotten away with that they're just not getting away with right now.
Because they don't have the pitching. Because I think when you go back and you look at where Ole Miss over the last 2 decades, and I'm not doing the Omaha thing right now. We'll get to that in a minute. But over the years, they've always had
Frontline pitching.
dudes. who can get you into the 6th, into the 7th, who strike out people, who, keep you in games where program issues that you have because of whatever reason kind of don't get exposed, or certainly not exposed until much later in the season, right? And so now you don't have that front line pitching. I'm not sure you have the middle of the line pitching. And what it does is it prevents you from being any good, number one, and it exposes every damn problem you have. When you don't pitch well, everything gets exposed. It's like a football team that can't play defense. I mean, it's just so hard to win.
Look, they have a couple things here. One of it is on the offense. Yeah, I think they're pressing because of that. Now, are they also pressing because of bigger stuff? I don't know. I'm not in the clubhouse. I can't answer that. I'm not ruling it out, but I don't know. But no, I mean, Doug, you said, what's different than last year? Doug's not on the field.
Yeah.
That's a big freaking difference. Yeah. Gunner's not out there. That's a thing where, hey, like,
Well, if you've ever played baseball, there's a mentality to, hey, when you guys have the best pitcher, even in Little League, right? Go back to your Little League days.
Yeah. We got this today, bud.
Like, I can remember when there was a kid that pitched in Ruston. His name was Robert Hill. And when you faced Robert Hill, you knew we're not going to get much. He throws really hard. It's going to be hard to hit. I mean, you thought about it that day. Well, it doesn't change. Look, you still know. I mean, in the major leagues, there's a difference when you're going to face Walker Buehler than there is when you're facing some kid who just got called up from AAA Iowa and
he's out there shaking.
He's got a 5.2 at Iowa and he's up because of injuries. Well, you're kind of frothing at the mouth to get after that guy. When it's Walker Buehler out there or something, you're like, hey, we give up a couple in the first and
it might be night.
It might be a long day. Yeah.
So here's the two stats. One of these, credit for Brian, one of them I found myself, is on this weekend, you take out Gonzalez and Elko, because I saw a couple things about, hey, the offense scored a lot of runs. They just scored 17 runs. You should never get swept scoring 17 runs on a weekend.
Right.
Outside of Elko and Gonzalez for the weekend, Ole Miss went 13 for 80, which is 162, with 5 total RBIs. Yeah. 4 of those 5 were off solo home runs.
Yeah.
Just no moving the baseball.
No.
In SEC play, we have a 12-game sample size at this point. Ole Miss is hitting 234 as a team with Elko and Gonzalez. That's everybody.
Yeah.
309 on base.
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
Yeah. That's approach.
41 walks and 139 strikeouts.
Those are your numbers.
I mean, those are horrid numbers
for
anybody who's not really that's horrid.
Yeah. And that's with Gonzalez.
And Elko.
Yeah.
That's defensively, it's converted outfielders. Burford has really struggled transitioning to the SEC at third base defensively.
Yeah.
He was fielding like 850 coming into the weekend.
Yeah.
Look, they're all holes, and I'm kind of cutting myself a little slack, and I'm sort of getting on myself at the same time. The pitching problems were obvious, and we just gave so much benefit of the doubt because Mike had always figured it out. If you took a step back, you went, hold on a minute. Derek's probably at least been hurt. He may be hurt now. McDaniel has never shown he can do it consistently. Mm-hmm. You've gone into the portal, and John Gaddis, I do think, is a capable arm, and he is a capable arm in the right situation.
Yeah.
But you're counting on him one of your top 2 days when he's only been at Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
And Washburn is frankly doing the exact same thing. He's almost kind of the baseball version of Ty Fagan. He's doing exactly what he was doing elsewhere in the Power 5 here. He walks too many guys, but he's got a lot of arm. Okay,
that leads us into the conversation that you and I had before we hit the button.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
So, perception's reality, even when the perception's not reality.
Okay.
Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and we'll probably break and get into this hard, but go ahead, set it up, and then we'll go.
So, the perception is, after the Super Regional last season, and frankly, during the Super Regional last season, but I'm not putting that on him, Mike Bianco had his eye on the LSU job. It was open.
Sure.
He wanted it, and there were reports that, when we know who the sourcing were on the reports, it was Skip Bertman and all those people down there in Baton Rouge who played.
Sure.
They wanted Mike Bianco. And Mike interviewed for the job, didn't get the job, came back, and Ole Miss put out the New Heights thing and all that stuff. And there's a perception that, that time could have been spent in the portal. That time could have been spent building your roster, knowing where your weaknesses were, addressing it. And again, I'm not saying this is fair.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, in fact, I know it's not, and I know why it's not, but it doesn't matter. That's the perception. And when you have these gaping holes on your roster, and they do, and now you circle it back a year later, and I said on this show at least twice before it happened,
sure,
you can't, because I remember arguing with Glenn Gilbo about it.
Yeah, I remember this.
You can't go interview for a job in your same division of the same league, not get it, and come back unless you
can't be outed as having publicly interviewed.
Right. Yeah, you can do 4,000 Zoom calls.
Yeah, sure.
But you can't,
because that happens all the time. Go ahead.
You can't go meet the AD.
Yeah, go ahead.
Unless you're going to win super big.
Yeah.
And if you don't win super big, it's this, which is here we are with the elephant in the room at all times. And now you get into, and I wrote this in 10 thoughts, and we'll do a break. We'll come back and talk about all this on the other side. But I watched the game yesterday, and I don't know, you were there. You can probably address crowd better than I could. It didn't have the same feel to it as earlier in the year. Now they're going to, in 2 weeks, Mississippi State's going to come in, and you're going to get the double-decker crowd, and you're going to get Grove Bowl crowd. And
it's an artificial.
It's going to be, but then after that, they go to Fayetteville, and then they come home to play Missouri, I think.
I think they go to Columbia, but whatever. Yeah, they play somebody.
But when they come home to play those last couple of series, there's a chance that May is pretty sleepy out there. And if it is,
students start leaving sometime.
Yeah, and people just check out. The weather gets nice. You got little Johnny's got little T-ball. As the stuff happens, if that happens, I think it gets awkward. And I think that the end result is somewhat inevitable, frankly, barring a turnaround. Here's what's interesting. The next 2 weeks, they play teams that you can turn it around against. You can go to Columbia and sweep them. They're bad. They're not. You said schizophrenic, and that's a good word, but because
they have wins over now. Vanderbilt's kind of bad right now too, but they have series wins over Vanderbilt and then Texas, who are more talented.
Yeah, and then you get Mississippi State, who's Mississippi State.
They're worse than you are.
They're a millimeter away from back-to-back sweeps at Arkansas and LSU. I mean,
they're not good.
They're not good, and you can beat them, but if you don't dominate these next 2 weeks, then you got to go to Fayetteville, where winning 2 is going to be difficult.
Losing 2 out of 3 in Columbia, just straight math, you're 5-10 at the break.
Yeah, and you're in trouble because you still got to go to Arkansas. You still got to play LSU. You still got to play Texas A&M, who I'm telling you is plucky.
Yeah,
and it just becomes almost impossible to get there. And if you don't make the tournament,
and I think
because at this point the whole hosting conversation is out the door.
Yeah.
That's
not even worth the conversation.
This is about getting into the NCAA tournament. And if you don't, I think it becomes very difficult.
And obviously, bare minimum to get into the tournament is 13 wins.
I would think so.
And frankly, maybe 14.
Probably so.
It happens at 13, but you're bubbly as hell.
Yep.
So anyway, all right, we'll talk about it in a second. First, talk about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float-down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's Grenada Nissan. USA.com. Brought to you by Dead Soxy. Go to good thing Dead Soxy didn't just go with the home run thing this week.
It would have been a bad week for the home run thing.
Be 90% off. It's 25% off. Promo code Rebel Grove at checkout. The best socks you'll ever put on your feet. I'm a huge fan of the no-shows. If you don't like going sockless and you don't want your socks to show, Dead Soxys, they're great. They do not run down your heel and stuff. They're awesome. Again, deadsoxy.com, promo code Rebel Grove. My 10 weekend thoughts are up. They got published about 7:50 this morning. I did the best I could. They're brought to you by Game Changer Patches. They're the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch is used before or while you drink. The overtime patch is used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game, ready for the next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com. Enter the promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. Brought to you by ACS, Automation and Control Systems, LLC. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation Recognized System Integrator. They've got a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. They can custom tailor software packages, custom design electrical control panel solutions, and much more. It's ACSLLCMS.com or call 662-601-4381. And we're brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry. Lammon's at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. We've been serving the Oxford area for more than 73 years, almost 75 years. From engagement rings to wedding rings to fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, and more. It's the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777.
Podcast is brought to you by Johnston Hill Creamery. Small batch artisanal cheese. They make it in-house every day right there off Molly Bar in Oxford on White Oak Lane. They have charcuterie, a bakery, catering, grazing tables, and more. And you can still get some Easter pre-orders coming up. Those are being picked up this week, April 14th to 16th. Grazing box, dessert box, carrot cake that is a big favorite. So find out everything they have available there at johnstonhillcreamery.com, on Instagram at Johnston Hill Creamery. And again, 662-419-9201. Yeah, you mentioned the Dead Soxy. My favorite pair. I'm more the dress sock guy because I don't wear socks with loafers. But this is a compliment. Everybody go, hey, but how long do they last? They've been advertising with us for a really long time, and my favorite pair that I wear constantly got their first even semblance of a hole yesterday. So it's been that long. It's been 3-4 years now of wearing them pretty common, and they just started to show a little fray finally yesterday. So
it's all I have, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, because they will stay up over your calf, too. I know a lot of people go, no, they're going to fall down. Nope, they're not. It's almost kind of like golf short technology. You got little beads. They hold them up. It works really well. So, again, there, Dead Sox. Okay, look. I mean, there's so many parts to even start it with.
Well, it's harder for you to do. Because people understand this. It's just harder for you to dive into because you've got to cover these people. I don't. So it's easier for me to sit here and
well, yeah, because I do it in basketball. No, Kurt, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see him, like, whatever.
Because there's nothing more miserable, ask me about 2011 sometime, than covering a coaching staff that you've written they're gone, because they're gone.
Yeah.
And you have to go out there and stand there at practice and just get the lasers looked through you, because they're people, and there's jobs and families and egos and all those things.
Yeah. Okay, look. And it's a couple different parts. The portal issue to start, and then we'll get into the other.
Yes.
That's where you started.
Yeah.
Okay. Ole Miss as a program is built on recruiting from the high school level. Mm-hmm. That is the way they have figured out the best way to do it, given, I'm not staying on scholarships, I'm saying given your 11.7, that's the way to do it.
Right.
You go, you identify, you pay, and then you need those guys to work. Because at the end of the day, that is what this team's problem is that they're giving high-level scholarships, or they're getting upperclassmen who don't pitch that they counted on to run the program at this point. Diamond, McDaniel, Kimbrell, Burton, even Doherty and Mallett to a point. Those sophomore and juniors who have not panned out. Yeah. That is the problem with this team if you just had to pick one. Now, there's not one, but that would be the one.
For sure.
Okay, so when you go into the portal and all your scholarship money's taken up, now should you make the argument, hey, everybody else in the league mostly does it. Mike's almost a little too nice of a guy. Should you just cut a bunch of folks? Maybe. Sure. Feel free. It's college athletics. Have at it.
Sure.
But they didn't have any money. They went after Jack Moss that ends up at Texas A&M. Now, they hired his hitting coach and whatever, but Ole Miss wasn't going to get him because they had no money. The little left-hander for Arizona that was in the portal, Ole Miss was a finalist for him. They had no money. There was no way to get him because there was no scholarship money available for guys who needed scholarships. They ended up with Jack Washburn, whose dad was a multi-year Major League player, is probably playing his own way. I have no idea either way. And John Gaddis, who deferred medical school, and I'm assuming is definitely on academic scholarship. That's who they got. Yeah. Now, again, right, wrong, not my point. My point is that given the current setup they had this summer, that was all they could do in the portal. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The problem is the current roster. It's not who they picked up in the portal. But no, look, you lose. I mean, Ole Miss sold a ton of season tickets because Ole Miss sells season tickets in baseball. And they were going to be really good. They were ranked 5th in the country or whatever, and everybody comes. That's what happens. And that's a whole other conversation for another day about did Mike build it, did he not? I don't care. It's irrelevant right now. Mm-hmm. We can have that if you'd like later, but no, I'm good right now.
I'm good for right now.
Okay. So that's what's interesting, is everybody who got pissed off by the LSU thing, they still bought tickets. They just went into it with a negative mindset. Mm-hmm. That's the way I'd kind of characterize it from a lot of my friends and people I know in town, that, no, we're still going, but my God, we can get sarcastic a little quicker. We're going to skip a couple other games. It was a pretty lazy atmosphere for the most part all weekend. It was quiet. Now, look, Ole Miss did very little to pep them up. It's not the fan, we can have the chicken or the egg, but, at the end of the day, when it's no energy, it's no energy.
It was different. It came across differently on television.
It's a late arriving crowd, a couple days, where it was on over into it a little bit before it filled out. No, it did fill out, but it was.
That's why if the next 3 weeks don't go swimmingly, May's got a chance to get.
I don't know. It's not even really seeing it different ways or disagreeing. The LSU thing, because I agree with everything Neal was saying. The problem is that Keith was trying to thread a needle that was so thin. You want Mike to get the job.
Yep.
Well, okay, to ensure that he interviews and gets it, you have to be okay with him doing that.
Yeah.
Because he could run the risk of going, well, no, I'm good then, forget it. Well, I don't really want that. I'd like to do this, so I need you to go.
Right.
While also realizing, hey, if this gets... Frankly, everybody just trusted Scott Woodward, which is
it. Well, that's it, right? That's it right there.
I mean, that at the end of the day, if Woodward doesn't do that, because, again, for anybody who needs a little quick rehash here, the people that wanted Mike at LSU were a lot of the former players, Skip Bertman, his Legion, or whatever that looks like at LSU. I don't know their dynamics that well. Scott couldn't just tell all those guys to go kick rocks. He had no ability to do that.
Right.
But he wanted to hire his own guy. He didn't want to hire Mike.
Yep.
So his thing was, well, I'll just leak it and make Mike pull out, because if it gets out publicly, Mike can't stay in that race. He has a job, and that solves my problem.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, everybody went into it thinking, oh, well, it'll, this is how you do it. You stay discreet. You'll go here and blah, 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 blah. Well, it didn't stay discreet at all.
No, and frankly, and look, people would say, you don't work in this business, you don't understand it. It's fair. It's where your agent has to make the call that goes, look, we can't interview unless we have the job.
Well, yeah, you just don't do an in-person interview.
I mean, we can do this. We can Zoom
all day.
We can text all day long. We can have phone calls.
Yeah.
We can talk on the phone till 3 a.m. if you'd like to. But we can't come physically.
Ole Miss did not think Dan would take the job if they fired Mike. A lot of people think that. That's not critical of Ole Miss. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Beats me.
So the path that they took, and I guess, again, I'm not really disagreeing. I'm just saying it's such a weird deal, because this is, to me, more just the repercussions of the plan they took. Not necessarily, unless you were just going to go, hey, look, yeah, go do it. We support you. And then when he comes back in and go, hey, you're fired. You shouldn't have done that.
Right. No.
And that,
no, of course.
I mean, Keith's not doing that. I mean, that would be a pretty shitty human, frankly.
But you get back into the other where you have to say, hey, look, if you go interview for this job and you don't get it and you come back and next season doesn't go well, it's going to be caustic.
Well, yeah, sure. That part, sure.
It's going to be caustic, frankly, so caustic that it's not going to
be
sustainable.
But, hey, we want you to go do that.
I know. Like you said, they were trying to thread a needle. But here we are.
Chet, I didn't say nobody had a problem with it. I said Mike's supporters were those people. Not that everybody was great with Mike. That's not what I said at all. Look, he would have been highly criticized in that fan base for getting hired.
Of course. It was the LSU old guard that wanted him. You know how old guards work? Seen that in Oxford. And the part that the NIL people don't get is, someone says adapt or die. Fine, but you have to have NIL money to adapt. And, they don't have it. It's not there. It's like basketball. They're struggling in the portal for a couple of reasons. One, the perception that it's a lame duck. And two, there's no basketball NIL money.
And to my knowledge, there is not some large plan in place for baseball NIL. I mean, there's some conference-wide stuff happening that could benefit Ole Miss like everybody else.
Yeah.
But that's not a plan that does a lot for Ole Miss, because, as I wrote on the board yesterday, if that's what you're counting on, well, that's covering scholarships at all schools. Well, then any additional NIL money is essentially just paying salaries to players.
Yes.
So then you're still behind. I mean, it's up to Ole Miss people to fix this problem if you want this problem fixed. That's up to you.
Yes,
but
no question.
That's how this would get fixed if
No
that's what
question
you feel
about
like
it.
doing.
Yep, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't say Hardman says, I hate to say it, Chet is right. We should never have let him come back. Should have canned him once the interview went public. You're missing the point.
you can't do that.
You can't say, hey, you have permission to go interview.
We think it's a great idea. I know it's your alma mater. We support you.
And then
2 days later, you go, hey, what? No, you shouldn't have done that. Peace.
Yeah, no.
No, that's not the answer.
No. That would have been no.
Yeah. Now, that would have harmed you in the next search.
Yeah, it would have been beyond crappy. Now, should someone have had the conversation where you sit in the room and go, hey, look, you've got to make sure you have this when you go interview. You have to make sure you.
And I have no idea if he thought he did or didn't. I have no clue.
Think he thought he.
My gut is yes, but I don't know.
My gut is he thought he had it.
Well, and again, I get that, Hardman. He says I wouldn't have given him permission in the first place.
Fair enough.
But
you did.
And you did with a purpose.
You did because you were.
You were trying to get Dan McDonald as your head coach.
Yes, and you knew that Dan would come if Mike had landed at his alma mater.
Yes.
At a happy place.
And that wasn't just Keith. There was a lot of industry people that said that.
Yes.
That was very well known last June.
And so
Dan was very frustrated out of COVID at Louisville.
And so you had a path, and you were trying to get that path. But to get that path, Mike needed to get the LSU job. And so you let him interview. You encouraged him to interview. You wanted him to interview. You wanted him to get the job. That's the reality. It's the part that I'm not sure that the people who aren't the hardcore fan get that part. And they're mad that he went and interviewed for a job, but it's more complex than that.
Yeah, it wasn't a normal year where you had no idea where you were going, and he just goes, hey, nope, I'm going to go to LSU. And you go, hold on a minute, what are you doing? No, it's not really.
So it is what it is at this point. And these next 3 weeks, pretty big, because if you don't make some hay in the next 3 weeks, the math becomes beyond problematic, and you get into May, and it's over. And it's been a minute since we've always talked about this, that he's never had that bottomed out year. And the schedule might not allow for it this year, but like I wrote this in 10 Thoughts, if you're South Carolina, you're looking at Ole Miss right now like, okay, this is a chance for us to get well. If you're Mississippi State, you're looking at that trip to Oxford going, okay, this is a chance for us to get something going. Nobody's looking at Ole Miss going, oh, my God, we play them now? Everybody's going, okay, this is a chance. And so people are going to approach you that way. Arkansas suddenly looks at you and goes, okay, this is a chance for us to build national seed stuff. You know, we could get some wins here. So you face that now. People approach you differently. So it's a real challenge. And if in the next 3 weeks it doesn't go well, say they go 4-5 or 3-6 in the next 3 weeks, the math then is such that May doesn't matter. And it's been a minute since that's happened here. And people are used to that place jumping in May. And if it's asleep in May, I think the writing gets on the wall. Ginger nailed it.
Yes.
One sentence, she nailed it. 4 words. We gambled and lost. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, there were like 4 outcomes, and it was the worst of the 4 that happened.
Yeah, it's the ping pong ball lottery. The ping pong ball did not work out for you.
The Plinko thing did.
You finished 3rd in the standings, and you are going to draft 7th. Why? Because the 10% chance of something going really wrong struck. It's like the opposite of when the Pelicans got Zion.
Yeah, when they just hit.
Hey, we hit the lottery. Whee!
Yeah.
Right? That's not what happened. You gambled and lost. Yes, that's exactly right. It's more complex than that, but boiled down, it's that, yes.
And it feels, barring some crazy comeback, it feels imminent. Just predetermined at this point. I don't see how you could let it sit.
No, I mean, there's a path to making it palatable. That's hey, we're not going to fire you. You're going to resign, but we're going to pay you as if we fired you. We're going to hold the big honor you weekend and stuff and take the salt out of it. That's It's a little early for that conversation, but we're getting there.
It's not time yet. But
I mean, the kids are in the back going, "Are we there yet?" No, but we're getting close.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not mad at your question anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, 2 weeks ago it's like, "Shut up,"
yeah,
and now it's, "Oh, yeah, we're getting there, close."
I mean, Ole Miss hasn't had a baseball search since June of 2000. It's fairly fascinating. Just even all the talk about the program is this or isn't this or whatever.
About to find out.
See what happens.
I think.
Possible. Because we also don't know, and I don't have an answer. I keep getting asked this, and I'm not dodging the question. I'm not calling a bunch of players right now. I don't know. Because people say, hey, Mike gives them the big speech on Saturday because just quickly, what happened there? Friday, I don't know exactly what he said, but we were close enough to the huddle that he raised his voice. He was louder on Friday with them after the game than typical. Saturday, he kind of hugged them a little bit. It was very much, hey, we got to stick together.
Friday, they were really flat.
Yeah.
And Saturday, they really competed.
Yeah, he praised them, said, hey, that's the energy we have to have us to give us a chance. Come on, let's come tomorrow. Let's do it. I love you. Block out all the crap. Stay together, whatever.
To me, the Saturday game was the killer in so many ways because you played so hard. You kept coming back, and it still wasn't enough. And that was Alabama, not Florida or Vanderbilt.
It was a team that, frankly, you should always be more talented than.
Yeah, and you couldn't.
And frankly, you're more talented now.
And on Sunday, you just can't put Alabama away. I mean, you get close, then they hit a 2-run home run to put it back out to 4. And it's just, to me, that there was a moment in that game, I think it was top of the ninth. It was 5-3, and the kid for Bama hit a home run, and Bench did all he could do. I mean,
yeah.
You can only climb the wall so high.
Yeah.
And he just kind of put his head down. And at that moment, it was kind of like that's that. In a nutshell, it's kind of where they are. Like you just can't get past Alabama, which speaks volumes.
Well, no, in a way, I was talking to Suss about it, and he actually, for anybody, he had like a really long digest of kind of what where this thing's at. That's maybe the toughest part is that Mike said, "Hey, you guys had really good energy on Saturday and Sunday. You showed up, you competed. We just weren't good enough."
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
And when you're not good enough, and it's
that's what I'm saying. When you can look at a group of guys and go, you played as hard as you could, and they did. They did. I mean,
pitchers aren't trying to not hit spots.
Yeah, they tried really hard. Which full circle on the whole conversation. Are you trying too hard? Well, yeah, but it's just at the end of the day, if you aren't good enough, you're just not good enough. Baseball's kind of sports are that way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you just play a team that's better than you, and sometimes in the course of a season, you just realize we're not real good.
Yeah, they've had one pitcher go at least 6 innings in an SEC game this season. One.
DeLucia.
Yeah, he's done it twice. Once out of relief, once as a starter.
Yeah.
They're a bad fielding team, and again, their on base percentage is .304.
And so you head to South Carolina, and you're like, okay, well, how do we put a pitching plan together? And then the next week, Mississippi State comes in, and how do we put a pitching plan together? And then you go to Fayetteville, and at some point that becomes and that's where they are.
Yeah. So, podcast brought to you in part by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. As we said, a couple weeks away from double-decker, Ole Miss, Mississippi State baseball, Grove Bowl. Also, double-decker, as we said. So plenty going on here in town. If you haven't taken care of everything that you could potentially reserve, now is definitely time to do that. It's a little late, but get at it if you haven't. A lot of people in town with us. A lot of people were in town this past weekend. They had Mississippi Day. Dolly Parton was in town. You would have needed to have done it then, too, but double-decker's that on steroids. So a couple weeks away. Take advantage. Go to the website, visit oxfordms.com, see the events page for everything going on this week and every week, and get your reservations in now.
We're also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call the people at Southern 662-429-4429. The College Corner is your one-stop Rebel shop. It has 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's okay. Go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day. The largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle. Pinnacle is based in Madison, Mississippi, but they've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. To learn more, go to mypinwealth.com, mypinn.wealth.com. I had a couple people reach out to me over the weekend asking about John Edwards. If you're thinking about travel, thinking about a summer vacation, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. Here's what you do. This is important. You give him some parameters, yes, but give him a budget. I don't really know. Figure out how much you're willing to spend on your vacation and give John a budget. And I promise you, he is going to put together a plan that you're not going to be able to do on your own. And he's going to let you really maximize your vacation and let it be one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Speaking of people coming up for double-decker and baseball and such, when you're up, check out Opa, Oxford's newest restaurant on the historic square. Gyros, wraps, kebabs, redfish, lamb chops, handcrafted cocktails, frozen libations, and amazing candlelit patio. All of that at 306 South Lamar, just south of the Square Courthouse in Oxford.
Podcast also brought to you by Northeast Spark. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a mouth issue and a little bit of a computer issue all at the same time, which is not a good thing when you're trying to find something. Northeast Spark serves people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze. It is 1 gig. I've got it at home. Have it here as well. nespark.com. 662-238-3159. Phone service is available. Parental controls, network security, and much more. So call the office for details, again, in Lafayette County and pieces of Pontotoc and Union counties that do not currently have internet. They are going to take care of you as well. Again, that is 662-238-3159. Let's see. Had it up here. As of the moment, I don't know tiebreakers and whatever, but Ole Miss actually would have to win a tiebreaker to make Hoover right now. 2 teams don't go to the SEC tournament. Missouri is 3-9 in the SEC.
That's right. There are a bunch of 4-8 teams.
There's a ton of
Ole Miss, State, South Carolina, and
Kentucky
are all 4-8.
That is correct. And there's 2 5-7s.
Who are the 5-7s? Florida and Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was looking at the polls a minute ago.
Separate. They're both going to be fine.
Vanderbilt's 5-7. Florida's 5-7. Ole Miss is 4-8. From a preseason poll standpoint, that's fairly humorous.
You have a 12-0, 2 8-4s, and a couple of 7-5s.
Yeah. So in the SEC West, Arkansas is winning it at 8-4. LSU 7-5. Auburn 7-5.
Yeah.
Played really well since Ole Miss. Butch is a good coach.
He's a really good coach.
Butch is a good coach.
Yeah.
That's for later. Maybe Ross was on to something.
Well, he definitely was.
Sorry.
He was. Butch is a good coach.
People's blood pressure is already high enough. I'm not detailing that conversation right now. LSU 7-5, Auburn 7-5, Alabama 7-5 now after beating Ole Miss 3 times. A&M 6-6, and Ole Miss and State 4-8 in the West.
Yeah.
In the East, Tennessee 12-0. They're the first ever SEC team to get to 12-0 through 4 weekends. They're 31-1 overall, and they have won 23 straight games. Missouri played them pretty well.
Missouri played them really well, Chase.
They really did. They played them well.
They really did.
It was kind of that deal, though, like somebody goes, oh, God, Missouri's up 2-0. I'm like, it's the 3rd inning. Tennessee's going to win the game, but, whatever.
If you're the 2 people out there who care about Missouri baseball, you're like, hey.
That's good.
We tried.
Nice job.
We tried hard.
Yeah. Georgia 8-4. They've played pretty well most of the season. They have some bullpen issues, but they're pretty good.
They have that thing that Ole Miss has always had, which is that frontline pitching that you can hand them the ball and go, we're going to be okay. We have a few innings to think about this.
Yeah.
To figure it out.
Yeah. Look, when you have a dominant starter, that's better than most of the league's dominant starters, it's almost impossible to suck.
Yeah, of course.
Because it resets your bullpen. It does so many other things other than just that one game.
Yeah.
Florida and Vanderbilt at 5-7, Kentucky 4-8, Carolina 4-8, Missouri 3-9. So yeah, I mean, because I mean, you said it. Carolina's looking at this weekend going, we have to get this.
Oh, of course.
We got to get 2 here.
Sure.
Got to get 2.
Sure.
Ole Miss hasn't won a series. I know it doesn't matter. Ole Miss hasn't won a series in Columbia since 95, 97, something like that. Doesn't matter.
I'll take your word for it.
Want to get out there.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter at all.
They've never won a series in Columbia, Missouri. 0-2.
There you go.
Yeah. Look, I think Vanderbilt's going to figure it out to an extent. This happens to Vanderbilt occasionally. Not to this. This is the worst it's been.
Yeah.
But they get more prospect than player because of who they bring in, and it doesn't really gel. And they have some guys that have hugely live arms, but they don't know where the hell it's going. And there's some stuff there.
Yeah.
But
there are some guys on that pitching staff that will be in the major leagues in 5 years, and you're going to be like, where'd that guy play? And you're going to go, he played at Vanderbilt. And you go, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But point being, they're probably going to figure it out and be completely fine, but like just condolences to whichever ACC team gets Vandy as their 2.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, come up on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Because right now, I think and look, there's time. LSU's got plenty of time to get.
There would be 3 hosts right now.
There'd be 3 hosts in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah. And only 1 national seed.
Well, no, Arkansas is on pace for 20-10. I mean, there are 8-4 in the league.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. I'm just saying.
I wrote this in 10 Thoughts. They're fine. That's what they are. They're fine. They're good. But you don't watch Arkansas and go, oh man, they're world beaters, because they're not.
No.
Nolan's become a very, very serviceable to good Friday night starter, to his credit.
And they have an upper level on the day he pitches in Wiggins.
Yeah, for Sunday starters, he's pretty good. But like Florida got to him. Their Saturday starters just there. He pitches. He takes the ball. And their lineup's okay. They're okay. And they've got a couple of bullpen arms. Tiger can be good. They're all right. They're going to look back at last season as like, whoa, really, really missed an opportunity.
And they did.
Yeah, because they did.
Yeah, they just Van Horn, in all seriousness, I mean, I said this, and I'm not even really kidding. I don't even have any affinity for Arkansas. I don't really whatever, other than just kind of watching them, and I almost hurt for that drop foul ball from a career standpoint. Because he gets done and probably never wins it, and it's like, it changes everything.
Of course, it was right there. You'd have the banner and the whole deal and the ring and the whole shooting match. And
frankly, it would take the edge off the rest of the time.
It would absolutely take the edge off. Instead, you've got people there that are like, we probably could get Vitello. We probably could. It's he'd take it. And
might want to hurry, but
probably need. You're there. You want to get him. You probably need to go ahead and do it. And so, do you push a legend out the door for just being not quite good enough, but really damn good?
And Arkansas has been to Omaha. Stop, guys.
I know.
Stop.
I know. But it's weird.
I mean, Van Horn's been there since 2003, I think. I think that was his first season. He's been there a long time. He came from Nebraska.
Yeah. He took Nebraska to Omaha.
He's a good coach.
Yeah.
He can be a little weird at times, but he's a good coach.
Sure. Most coaches can be weird, frankly.
That's probably fair.
It's more than fair.
He's been to Omaha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at Arkansas.
Yeah. No, he's very good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 6.
6 times.
6.
Yeah. So, I mean, hard to argue, but no, it completely. If a kid catches a pop up, it's a completely different.
Well, and I look at it here, and I'm not really comparing Ole Miss to Arkansas, but they've been, from a regular season standpoint, they've been the 2 most consistent teams in the SEC over the course of whatever.
Yeah.
He had his bottom out year in 2016, but he went to the College World Series the year before that, so he was obviously safe.
Right.
And then they got right back kind of to business and were okay the next year.
Yeah.
He was in a little bit of heat at the end of 2017 because he went 7-23 in the SEC in 2016, and then in 2017 he goes 18-11, but then loses in a home regional. And then kind of went from there. But anyway. irrelevant to the conversation. I don't know how I got down that roll. Whew. So, Ole Miss, South Carolina, yay. Attendance.
Van Horn has a statue at Arkansas, literally. He actually has a statue.
Does he really?
That's what Alan says. I take Alan's word for it.
Yeah, I don't recall. I haven't been to Fayetteville in several years for baseball.
I've been a bunch, but I haven't paid attention to what statues they have.
You haven't?
No. I haven't been to a baseball game there since the time I covered a game with you.
Have you not really? 09?
I've driven right by the stadium.
Really?
Countless times, but no, I haven't been to a game.
Really? Just so we can clear this up, Ole Miss does play Missouri at home. Sorry, I thought that was in Columbia, Missouri. It is not. They've got State, Arkansas, Missouri at LSU, A&M to close at home.
Yeah.
So they have 3 road series left: LSU, Arkansas, and is it just
LSU, Arkansas, and LSU?
Sorry.
Yeah, LSU, South Carolina, and Arkansas.
Correct.
Still on
yes.
the road. Yeah.
That's that. I'm assuming because of how sleepy it was, you did not watch much Masters over the course of Saturday and Sunday.
It's kind of hard to get into. I wrote this in 10 thoughts.
I'm mostly saving football for tomorrow, people. That's kind of where we're at. We're going to need something other than this.
Yes, we can't do this show 5 days a week. It's not possible. I didn't know who Scheffler was going into the weekend, and by the end of the weekend, I really liked the guy.
Did you?
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. 25 years old. This is
kind of reminds you of Spieth a little bit early in his career. Both just, and I don't mean the Texas part, just
it's happening.
A little more
really
humility,
fast.
at least.
It's happening really fast.
He's won 4 tournaments in 57 days.
Wright Thompson wrote a really good story. He quoted the people, so I'm going to take their word for it. That Scheffler woke up on Sunday morning and cried, got upset. I'm not ready for this. This is so fast. I can't imagine how fast it must feel.
Keeping your nerves over 18 holes because it's so slow.
Yeah.
There's so much time to think. Cam Smith comes out, birdies 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Well, look, even on 18, he's all unsettled. He 4 putts from 4 feet on 18 because he's all fidgety.
He needed to take a minute.
Yeah, the caddy, Ted Scott, stepped in and was like, whoa.
Hey, chill. It's just a little 3-foot putt. You're okay.
He literally might have really felt some stuff had Rory been 2 closer because Rory shoots 64 on Sunday to just finish second. But
I followed that part on Sunday because Rory was playing so well, and it was kind of fun. But you're like, dude's so far behind that he
had no chance.
Yeah, he's going to have and Rory.
And it's the frustrating thing is he's one of the most talented humans in the world, but he just.
And Rory said as much when he finished, and they said, what do you think? And he goes, I played great, but I didn't.
That's not it.
He
lost it on Thursday and Friday night.
Yeah, he's like, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it was
It's fine.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly compelling because the Masters, you're supposed to have some drama, and there was no drama.
And unless Scheffler wins 4 or more majors, 5, maybe he does. Hell, who knows? It's going to be known as the one Tiger found a way to finish down the road.
Yeah. Well, and that's what you asked, did I watch? I did. I watched a lot of Tiger because they had that thing where you could just watch Tiger.
Yeah.
And so I just watched Tiger. And so I'll be curious to see what the ratings are.
Yeah.
If this is the first year that the Thursday, Friday ratings are better than the Saturday, Sunday. Because I think a lot of people were cheering for Tiger just because. Not to win. I think you knew he wasn't going to win, but to play well. And he did. And then he got tired, and he was good. But,
yeah. We knew Saturday and Sunday the walk starts getting to you. You've used all the adrenaline to make the cut.
Yeah.
And he was safe from the cut the whole time. He played well.
But, Scheffler's a potential star at this point, so you kind of watch him.
He's a star.
Because his game.
You just never know when it leaves. Spieth immediately. Rory hasn't won a major since he won 2 in a row in 14.
Yeah.
Spieth is, frankly, a bad golfer right now. It's interesting.
That's what struck me was just how many people I'd not heard of, and then you'd watch them swing, and they're like, that dude's good.
Well, it's the youth movement. As we talked about last week, the top 7 in the world, only one's at least 30 years old, and that's Patrick Cantlay at 30. Everybody else is in their 20s.
Yeah.
So it's been a huge guys who their entire career they've been fit, and they've done everything to maximize and That's easier than the guy who's 34 and goes, hey, I'm going to go fix all the 15-year. Okay, but you can get better, but
yeah,
that's a tougher road.
That's what was interesting about Scheffler. Like, he's fit, but, like, he's not ripped the way some of those other guys
He doesn't look like Koepka or DJ or one of those guys that's just looks like a golfer.
Yeah.
But he hits it a long way. Got great hands.
I did find it interesting. He was nervous, and so his wife fixed him a, quote, big breakfast. I thought to myself, that's the last thing I'd want, nervous. Like
pancakes and omelets.
No.
You wouldn't eat.
No, I just would. When I'm super nervous, I can't eat at all.
He watched The Office on Saturday night. That's the way he killed Saturday night was he watched The Office.
That's smart.
Yeah.
By the way, Family Guy last night was hilarious. It was awesome.
If you have a 2:40 tee time and a 3-shot lead, how are you feeling your day?
I mean, I wouldn't know. And he acknowledged it. I mean, the butterflies were airplanes. I mean, you can say you're not going to get nervous and stuff, but you are. I mean, I guess you just watch TV and relax, and then when it's time to go,
watch the clock. You have to make yourself not get ready and go early.
Yeah,
it'd be so tempting to go. Let me just kind of go start, and it's like, dude, you're going to be exhausted if you start. Piddling at 9 o'clock in the morning.
No, you have a routine that starts a certain amount of time before you're around, and you wait for that time. And I'm sure there were people around him that did that, and he had family and stuff, and I'm sure that you just sit and.
I thought it was really funny. It was a funny TV moment. Is they were following Tiger off his round, and he's hugging his family, and the kids were there, and the whole deal, and I think his mom was there, and his daughter, you could see she asked him a question, and she was really interested in something. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I confirmed that. I told Sky Sports, but I didn't say it on the CBS thing, and CBS cut it right when he was kind of saying that. It was a really sharp cut, and I was like, what was that? And Twitter's blowing up, going, what did he commit to? And it was the British Open, the Open Championship. Oh,
okay.
His daughter was like, hang on, you said you'd play, and he was like, yeah. I told him I
gotcha.
He said he didn't know if he was going to go to Southern Hills for the PGA Championship, but he would definitely be at St. Andrews for the Open Championship.
All right, I got a question.
Yeah, sure.
Are the birds real? The bird sounds?
I don't think so.
Because they're too perfect and they're too.
It's the same too often.
Yeah.
There's not enough separation in them. Yeah,
it's the same bird saying the same thing. So it's either a bird that's really horny or really hungry, or they're piping it in.
Yes, I do not believe the birds are real. I do not.
I caught myself listening to it a lot.
It is what it is, and you just appreciate it for what it is, and you go, you know what? It's the Masters in spring, and look, they got plenty of flaws, but
it's springtime.
We're here.
And it's amazing how Sunday at the Masters, the weather is freaking-tacular every year.
I mean, look,
it's almost like
there's a lot of work going into making sure those damn azaleas bloom when they bloom, okay?
Yeah.
They don't bloom 2 weeks late.
Yeah.
Whatever's required, because, I mean, if it takes more money, they just pay the money. It is what it is, yes. So, podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSeat. Free prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. Whether it's one trip to the pharmacy or one delivery, you get what you need when you need it with G&M. Also, again, on the square in Holly Springs with Tyson Drugs. That is 662-236-2222.
I'll have a mailbag up at some point on Wednesday. It'll be brought to you by Whitney McNutt, Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo, condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. We're also brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. They've been connecting job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If you're on the job hunt, whether you're seeking an entry-level position or you're a seasoned professional, they have opportunities all across the board in multiple fields. Their goal is to get to know you, your strengths, and see what you're looking for in your next career move so they can help you find the right fit. It's free for the candidate. All conversations are kept confidential, so you have nothing to lose by giving them a call. It's 662-832-5138 to get in touch with Will, Sydney, or Kelsey, or you can check out their new and improved website at servicespecialistltd.com. We're brought to you by The Rogue. It's your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, and more, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward and chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment, financing available at corinthdental.com. And we're brought to you by Bell & Grove, based out of Chattanooga. Daryl Oliver and Evan Dial built Bell & Grove, a logistics provider with more than 35 years of transportation industry experience. Bell & Grove specializes in domestic freight movement throughout the continental U.S. They can navigate through supply chain issues while also leaning on their partner carriers to get the most competitive rate possible for their customers. In addition, Bell & Grove can help customers design a custom solution for their shipping needs. Whether your business is in need of moving a truckload, a partial shipment, or a flatbed, Bell & Grove can accommodate you. They also provide both air and ground expedited services for customers who need to move product quickly. For more information, call Daryl Oliver at 865-672-6557.
Prime Shrimps announced the release of their fourth flavor at primeshrimp.com, the garlic herb butter, the most versatile offering yet. Remember, you can put it over pasta, rice, veggies, shrimp scampi, surf and turf, and much more. They also have the two sauce offerings with that and the French Quarter Alfredo, or the signature seasoning or the Louisiana shrimp bowl, a little spicier option for those who would like that. That's primeshrimp.com, money back guarantee. Code MPW gets $20 off your first order, and it is freezer to plate in less than 10 minutes to make it easy on you for restaurant quality shrimp. Again, primeshrimp.com. Yeah, I saw it on the stream. You don't just sell your house to Augusta. You understand that they will pay pretty much whatever, and you will do it. That is the answer there. There's a property right next to their lines that Augusta's been trying to get, offering millions for. Zillow has it priced for $330,000. They're offering millions, and the people will not sell.
Wonder why.
Maybe out of principle. I don't know.
Yeah.
Your principal would not.
Not at millions. I'm out.
Donuts over cinnamon rolls. Yeah. Somebody asked. Cinnamon rolls or donuts? Donuts. Like, I don't hate a cinnamon roll. I don't want to make it whatever, but that's not something I'm ever going to crave or really want.
Yeah, I know. I don't ever crave a cinnamon roll. I don't ever crave a donut, for that matter.
If I see it, I go, yeah, that looks really good. But I'm not going, hey, I really want a donut this morning.
But, like, I never, like, see the big cinnamon roll things and go, man, that looks awesome.
Oh, no.
It looks fine. Whatever.
Vogel out, Lakers head coach.
Is he fired?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Not a shock.
It wasn't his fault.
No.
I mean, I realize someone's got to take the fall, but.
Luka strains a calf last night. How big of a deal is that?
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, if it limits him, it's a real big deal.
Suffered a left calf strain after the team's regular season finale against the Spurs late in the third quarter. There's initial optimism. It's not significant. We'll know more tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
He's got a week because they don't start the postseason until what, Friday, Saturday, somewhere in there. So he's got a little time. Probably not a huge deal if it's not.
The Mavs are the fourth seed in the Western Conference and face the Jazz in the first round. The series will open at 1 o'clock on Saturday in Dallas.
Yeah, so they got time.
You think it's probably all right?
That's my guess. Play-in starts tomorrow.
I hate the play-in. Hate it. And I don't know why, because I'm okay with the wild card in baseball.
Yeah.
But there's something about the NBA play-in that I despise. I think it's because 8 already get in. It's like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah, more than half of the league gets into the playoffs.
This is stupid.
Yeah. It's funny. It was meant to stop tanking, and I guess it.
But the 9 is not beating the 1 very often.
No.
I mean, you're flawed. It's why you're the 9. You're not making the big run.
Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks, for example, I think they're the 9. They're not doing anything. They're not. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the 8. I think they're not winning a series.
What's interesting is had the NBA not rescinded the 16th technical for Luka, he would have not been eligible and not played in the game where he strained a calf on Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
How does a star have 16 texts? I don't watch it, so I'm asking.
So
because that would be weird in my head.
Luka is a complainer.
Okay.
Luka walks onto the court complaining about getting fouled.
Okay.
And officials get sick of it and tee him because he goes too far.
So if he would shut up, he would just get some calls and not.
And he does get some calls. And look, he draws the other team's attention constantly. So He does get fouled a lot. But I suspect that in his games, frequently there comes a point where an official says to him, "Hey, I'm not listening to you anymore." And then he keeps going. And so the official says, "Well, I told you, so here's a tee. Shut up." And you get 15 of those over the course of the season. I mean, I've seen guys get 16 and get suspended.
That's 1 out of 5 games.
I mean, I've seen multiple guys get that deal. I mean, if you're that guy that always complains to officials.
So you're getting teed up for complaining.
Typically. It's chronic complaining. It's constant complaining. Not here and there where it's like, "Hey, I think you missed this call." I think they listen to that more than.
Because frankly, you're almost defeating your own purpose.
Well, the knock on him has been that he gets too obsessed with that. Like he's the antithesis of Giannis, who basically never complains and probably should.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, he just plays.
He would get more calls?
I don't know. He has such a, pleasant disposition, and he's built like an absolute Greek god, so I don't know that it matters.
What seed are they in the East?
They're the 2.
They are.
Because Miami's the 1.
We can hit this more tomorrow, but I'll pull it up here. ESPN has a full mock draft, all 267 picks out. They have Corral going 40th to the Seattle Seahawks.
Whew.
Again, we'll tease him more than anything at this point. But, Corral tomorrow, 40th to the Seahawks. They have...
And in many ways, that would be good for his career, probably, but that would be awfully disappointing to go in the second round.
They have Sam Williams going 139th overall to the Baltimore Ravens.
139.
Yeah, 139. That feels low. Doesn't it?
Yeah, just that league gets obsessed about stuff, man, and it's hard. Once you get a rap, it is really hard to beat that rap in that league.
Mm-hmm. And then it does not appear they have Snoop getting drafted. I saw The Athletic had Snoop as a 7th-round pick.
Okay.
In there, so we can.
What about Ely? Nothing.
Did not look. Hold on.
By the way, while you're doing that, camps start at Southern Tradition Farm.
Yep.
May the 30th. There's another camp starting on June the 6th, June the 12th, June the 20th. They're Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 2. For more information about that, contact Susan Walt at 601-278-7563. You can also follow them on Instagram and Twitter at Southern Traditions Farms.
The quarterback note in this ESPN one is that they have Malik Willis going number 2 to the Detroit Lions.
Really?
That's correct.
Wow.
2.
Wow. Well, we talked about this a little bit. I think Eric Edholm, on one of those hand-raised guys, talked about this. It's kind of about market. Mm-hmm. It's not really about market value. It's you need a quarterback. There are only a handful of quarterbacks you're picking.
So take one.
So you take one, unless if you feel like you could move down from 2 to 7 and then still get him. But the problem then is if you move down to 7 and somebody moves up to 6 and they get your guy, and all of a sudden your gamble didn't pay off.
Where are you rating from 0 to 10, from hollow and dumb and nothing to, okay, fine, whatever? Rob Manfred giving a note and headphones to all the players as a peace offering for the lockout.
He did what?
Rob Manfred gifted Major League Baseball players Bose headphones on opening day as a peace offering after a bitter 99-day lockout that delayed the start of the season. Baseball confirmed that headphones and a letter signed by Manfred were left at the locker of each player when teams began their seasons Thursday and Friday. Please accept this gift as a small gesture of my appreciation for the hard work that comes with being a major leaguer and your respect for our incredible fans. Thank you for everything you do in a game that has such a rich history and a deep meaning to our fans in the U.S. and around the world. Wishing you the best of luck this successful season.
I mean, it's a nice gesture.
It's a token.
Yeah, but if you're...
It's also tone deaf at the same time.
It is.
I don't even necessarily have a problem with it while I also laugh at it.
The noise-canceling headphones.
Oh,
Don't hear the noise.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, yes, that did happen.
It is cool to have Major League Baseball back.
Sure, yeah.
I've enjoyed it. Yeah. I've turned it on in the background, and it's nice to have games on. And
yeah. So.
I don't know how many people younger than me feel that way.
Right.
That might be something for them to be concerned about, but
we will talk a good bit of football tomorrow. Ole Miss again held another scrimmage on Saturday. We were
and it was only a kind of scrimmage.
A lot of guys didn't play. It was situational with some scripting, is what it was. So we'll get into that. Some pros, some cons. They'll do another one on Saturday. Then obviously the Grove Bowl in 12 days.
12 days.
We'll have that there. So. Anyway, appreciate everybody in the stream. And
we'll say this,
podcasts.
Chase has a lot of baseball content up. 10 Weekend Thoughts are up. There's a ton of recruiting content from the weekend. So if you need your news fix, rebelgrove.com. Price remains the same. Be a good place to check that out.
Yep. So we'll be back tomorrow. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you then.